The News 4 Rundown starts now.
Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jim Adley. It's Thursday, June 4th, and here's a look at some of the stories we're working on for you this evening. Coming up, we're hearing from the top two contenders vying to become D.C.'s next mayor. The fiery back and forth today you'll only see on News 4. Plus, we're counting down to the World Cup. The recent changes fans attending the games will need to know, plus the matchups to watch. Then we're celebrating the class of 2026. We'll reintroduce you to a special group of high school seniors as they prepare to enter the real world. First tonight, as we head into early voting week, the crowded primary to determine who will replace outgoing Congressman Steny Hoyer is heating up. Hoyer has thrown his endorsement behind his former campaign manager, Adrian Boafo. Now, today, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen announced what he called a flood of outside spending into the race to benefit Boafo.
I want to alert voters in Maryland's 5th congressional district about the flood of outside special interest super PAC money that is coming into that district in support of one candidate, Adrian Boafo.
But now, as Boafo emerges as a front-runner in the pack of more than 20 candidates, he's facing other questions about his ties to big tech. Tracy Wilkins and the News 4 I-team sat down with Boafo this week and unpack what the questions are all about. Tracy?
Well, Jim, in an interview earlier this week, Adrian Boafo told us he denounces super PAC spending and says he is fighting for regulation to protect consumers in the crypto space. But we also asked him about his day job as a federal lobbyist for a major tech firm and concerns some have about what it could mean if he wins this congressional seat. By now, you may have seen these political ads featuring key endorsements from Congressman Steny Hoyer, Maryland Governor Wes Moore, and U.S. Senator Angela Alsobrooks.
I'm Adrian Boafo, and I approve this message.
At just 32 years old, Adrian Boafo was attempting to clear the path in a crowded race for the District 5 U.S. congressional seat. Before running for Congress, Boafo served as Bowie's mayor pro tem and a state delegate. As a freshman lawmaker in Annapolis, he emerged as a strong proponent of tech legislation.
My first year up there, we did the Kids Code Bill, which really protects Maryland's kids around the issues of the internet. And so I understand the tech industry very well.
But it's that expertise that now has some raising questions about his ties to big tech. For the past 5 years, Boafo has worked for Oracle, a tech giant led by billionaire Larry Ellison that offers software, cloud infrastructure, and data management products to the private sector and government.
So my job is to really have relationships with Democrats on the Hill, mainly and more specifically it's around education policy.
And you're a lobbyist.
Yeah.
Even if it's not unethical, it's the appearance of impropriety that we try to avoid.
Maryland Delegate C.T. Wilson chaired the Economics Matters Committee that Boafo served on in the state legislature and says he didn't know Boafo lobbied for Oracle on Capitol Hill.
Disclosure is not enough, even if he was to disclose that. It's what you do, as far as in Annapolis, I think that matters, because you're not supposed to be, voting on or introducing legislation that could benefit the people that pay you.
Put simply, blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger that records transactions across networks of computers in a secure and transparent way.
Wilson says now he questions some of the tech-related legislation Boafo sponsored, including a bill to study the use of blockchain technology and property records that passed this year. Oracle offers blockchain products, though Boafo says his Oracle work does not involve blockchain. When you were discussing these bills, should you have said, I know what I'm talking about here because I work in the tech industry. I work for Oracle.
I'm pretty sure I've said that in the past at different moments. On the issue of blockchain, I wouldn't have said that because, again, the work I do for Oracle doesn't involve anything that we're doing with blockchain.
Oracle CEO and other top executives have donated more than $30,000 to Boafo's campaign, according to FEC reports.
A lot of these folks are my coworkers that I work with a lot who have decided, like any other American or like the thousands of other people in my community, to help contribute to our campaign.
He's faced questions from other candidates and government watchdogs about his work with Oracle in recent weeks. Maryland law requires lawmakers to disclose whether their employers hold state contracts. Boafo had reported working for Oracle on his state disclosures, but last month, WAMU first reported that just before filing to run for Congress, he amended his state disclosures to include that Oracle had state contracts and that he received $300,000 in stock bonuses over multiple years. He says he's since sold the stocks and used the funds to buy a home. The State Ethics Commission told WAMU there was generally no penalty for such amendments.
When you realize there's a mistake, you're supposed to go back and fix it. And so during that November period of last year, I realized, I had a mistake on my disclosure.
Boafo said he maintains a firewall between his private sector and public service life. We asked him what that meant.
It means that I can't lobby the state side at Oracle. It's both an internal rule that we came up with when I first got elected to the city council, and a rule that I adhere to in the state of Maryland.
It's very concerning when you see a lobbyist go to Congress as a member of Congress, because they're going to have influence on legislation.
David Williams, president of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance, said it's unusual for lobbyists to enter Congress instead of the other way around. While there is a 2-year cooling off period for former legislators who pursue lobbying, there isn't one for a lobbyist seeking office on the Hill.
The rules need to be changed to make sure that there is a time between you being a lobbyist and you assuming office, and that time should be at least 4 to 5 years.
We asked Boafo how he would approach tech-related legislation if he's elected to Congress this fall.
The same way that I have in Annapolis, right? I've been the guy who's called for some of these tech companies to pay their fair share. And so for a lot of these issues, we need federal frameworks in place, and that's what I'm going to do in Washington.
Boafo also told us that if he wins the primary later this month, he plans to resign from Oracle, but didn't say exactly when. And in response to Van Hollen's comments today, Boafo told us he agrees that big money has no place in politics. Boafo said if elected, he'll work with Van Hollen to overturn Citizens United, the Supreme Court decision that ruled political spending by corporations is protected by free speech. We reached out to the Maryland Ethics Commission about some of these concerns, and it said that all matters before the Ethics Committee are confidential. They also said that if the House of Delegates reprimanded or censured a delegate, that report and resolution would be posted on the Maryland General Assembly's website. No such reports or resolutions are posted for Delegate Boafo. We also reached out to the Oracle Corporation for their comment, but they have not yet responded. I have to tell you, Jim, that during our reporting, we talked with delegates who said we had no idea he worked for Oracle. Right. It was in his disclosures, but people weren't going back and looking at the disclosures. I asked him about that because, you know, in Annapolis, people are supposed to have day jobs, but most folks know who the doctors are. They know who the lawyers are, but these were people who were saying we didn't know he worked for Oracle, and we definitely didn't know that he was a lobbyist, a federal lobbyist for Oracle. And I asked him, were you keeping this a secret of some kind? And he said, no. You know, as you saw in the piece, he mentioned, I think I've mentioned it, you know, from time to time. I don't know. But just a lot of questions about all of this and why these PACs are now supporting him the way that they are. And that is what Van Hollen was bringing attention to, his campaign pushing back, saying, look, we're not asking these PACs to do this, and we don't know because we're not communicating with them.
Interesting that you pointed out in the piece, too. It's common that we see people from the Hill go into lobbying, but the reverse is rare. Yeah,
it is very rare, and I think that there are going to be quite a few folks who are taking a look at this and what it could mean, because, really serious questions about there not being a cooling off period. And so what happens next?
All right. Thanks for shining a light on this. We learned a lot. Tracy, thanks so much. All right, only on 4 tonight, the fiery back and forth between the top 2 candidates in the D.C. mayoral race. News 4 hosted a live forum today between Councilmember Janice Lewis-George and former Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie this afternoon. Our very own Mark Seagraves moderated the conversation and has more on the heated exchanges.
Yeah, the gloves indeed have come off. There's a lot of finger pointing, a lot of name calling, an indicator of really just how close this race is as we head into the final days before Election Day. One of the topics that sparked some heat, Councilmember Trayon White from Ward 8, who's facing a bribery charge. Recently, Councilmember Janice Lewis-George attended an event with Councilmember White. The McDuffie campaign sent out this flyer to voters pointing that out.
It's just such bad politics and cheap shots. I want to be clear that I voted to expel Councilmember Trayon White. He is not campaigning with me. I also have condemned any remarks he's ever made about Jewish people in the community. I went to Ward 8 to a candidate forum that Mr. McDuffie didn't care to show up to. I was invited to a Ward 8 community event where they were also recognizing their current Ward 8 council member. And I wanted to make clear to Ward 8 residents that I'm going to be a mayor that shows up for Ward 8 residents and cares about hearing their concerns. Not
Mr.
again.
McDuffie, why?
And again, that's why I think it's such a cheap
Why
shot.
are you? Why? She calls it a cheap shot. Why are you playing that card at in the final days of the campaign?
Unlike Jean Louis George, Mark, I'm not peddling disinformation. I'm actually talking about facts. The fact is, she showed up to the Trayon White event and referred to him as her mentor. And it's not just about her showing up for Ward 8. She picks and chooses the opportunities to try to exploit Ward 8 in relationships and then turn around and say, oh no, I'm going to back away from that. She called Trayon White her mentor. And it's more than that. When no judge reportedly would take the time to swear in Trayon White after he was kicked off the council, she swore Trayon White in when he was kicked off the council. When no judge
You don't think he
would do
deserved to be? You don't think the voters of Ward 8 deserved to have their choice for council sworn in?
What I'm pointing out is an issue of judgment here.
We should mention there are 7 candidates who qualified for the Democratic primary for D.C. mayor. For today's forum, we invited the 2 candidates leading the most recent polling. But we should mention the other candidates are Rini Sampath, Vincent Orange, Gary Goodweather, Ernest Johnson, and Hope Solomon. Again, D.C.'s primary is June 16th, and ranked choice voting will be in effect. A reminder, you can watch the News 4 mayoral forum on the NBC Washington YouTube page. It will also replay tonight at 8 o'clock on the NBC4 streaming channel. Much more ahead on the News 4 Rundown, including if we'll see even warmer weather for the weekend.
It was a warm day across our area, but at least it wasn't very humid at all. High temperature of 89 degrees, 1 degree shy of 90. And I think we get there over the next couple of days. We'll talk about that heat building as we head into the weekend. I'll see you back here in just a minute.
Still ahead in your weekend scene, we are in the water, on the water, and we're going to tell you where in West Virginia you can make a day trip to enjoy some historic water. It's going to be worth it. Plus, other stuff going around the area like Pride, and also the start of a peacock show that's gathering some viewing parties in our area. It's on the way on News 4.
Hard to believe, folks, we are just 1 week away from one of the biggest sporting events on the planet. We're talking about the World Cup. The international soccer tournament kicks off in 16 cities across the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. Millions are expected to attend the games in person. No games here in the Washington region, but we know soccer fans will be traveling to cheer on their favorite players. Joining us tonight to get us ready for the games is front office sports reporter Margaret Fleming. Margaret, thanks for taking time with us. We appreciate it. Let's start off with some new news today from FIFA. It is changing its refillable bottle policies. Fans will not be able to bring them to matches to stay hydrated in all this heat. You cover the business of soccer. Many are viewing this move by FIFA as a business decision, making fans spend more money at the games. What are you hearing?
Yeah, FIFA changed its code of conduct, said that fans will no longer be able to bring in water bottles to the stadiums. This is going to be impacting across the country, Santa Clara to Boston, all across the country. This will be an issue for fans coming in. We saw last summer there was a big heat wave in the Club World Cup. FIFA still allowed water bottles then, but decided to change it. And yeah, you mentioned people are wondering if this is a commercial decision, if this is a decision so that FIFA partner Coca-Cola will get to sell more water bottles, more Cokes at the stadium.
In your latest reporting, Margaret, you talked about the tens of thousands of tickets that are still up for grabs. What do you think's the reason that fans aren't buying the tickets? And do you see there being a last-minute surge in purchases?
How much time do you have, Jim? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on here. It's pretty crazy. There are still thousands of tickets left because they're just really at too high prices than U.S. fans want to pay, and people are waiting for those prices to come back down. We shall see if that happens, but for now, I would say keep an eye on the secondary resale markets, and we're seeing across the country a lot of different ticket packages like in Seattle for youth, in New York for residents, and for some veterans and first responders as well to get some affordable or free tickets. So I would say keep an eye out for a possible program like that.
That's good to hear. Lastly, we've got to ask, who do you think has the best shot of winning it all?
Oh, goodness. I cover a lot on the business side, so I don't want to call myself an expert in any way on the pitch, but I think Spain and France are both in pretty good form right now. So I would say those are probably two top contenders.
I think you've got a lot of company there. All right, Margaret Fleming, thanks so much. Front Office Sports Reporter. We thank you again for taking time with us tonight and sharing your insights too. Won't be long till the first kick. Can't wait for it. And don't forget, you can experience every goal, every celebration, every unforgettable moment of the FIFA World Cup 2026 exclusively in Spanish on Telemundo and Peacock. The hits keep coming. Now the hots are coming our way for a couple of days at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get into the 90s tomorrow, Saturday, maybe even on Sunday. So it might be the first heat wave in the month of June.
All right.
Let's take a look at it. We've got the heat out there right now. Temperatures got to 89 degrees earlier. It looks like a warm day, and it certainly is. As we make our way through, sun, by the way, it doesn't go down until 8:30 now. How about that? And take a look at this. We're calling this anti-humidity. What do I mean by that? Well, it's 87 degrees. The heat index, though, is 84, so it feels 3 degrees cooler because of the fact our dew point is so low. Anytime your dew point's around 50 or below, especially with temperatures like this, that is fairly dry air, and that's what we've got out there right now. 82 Gaithersburg, 86 in Leesburg, and in Manassas, 86 Culpeper, a little bit cooler over towards the water. Temperature there around 81. So a gorgeous afternoon and a really nice evening. No rain to speak of at all across much of the eastern half of the nation here. We've got a storm system that's off the coast. That will stay off the coast. Got a storm system that's off towards the west. In between, we've got high pressure. That area of high pressure, clockwise flow around high pressure, allows the heat to just build in our area. And that's what's going to be happening as we make our way through the day tomorrow and into the day on Saturday. So let's time it out for you by the time we work towards tomorrow morning. Here's 8 o'clock in the morning. A great start for the kids that still have school. Yeah, no problem out there at the bus stop. Temperatures in the mid-70s, 74 Manassas, 74 Gaithersburg. But during the afternoon, we'll rise into the upper 80s to low 90s. I'm going for a high of 93 degrees during the day tomorrow. Most areas will get close to 90 degrees as we move on through the day on our Friday. Fantastic Friday. Well, if you like it hot. The good news is it won't be super humid, but we will start to feel that humidity creep up, especially on Saturday. Temperatures now in the mid to upper 70s by 8 o'clock. During the afternoon, right back into the upper 80s to low 90s, going for a high on Saturday of 95. That'll be close to a record high temperature on Saturday, and I think we get close to records both Friday and Saturday out there at Dulles Airport, where the records are a little bit lower. Showers late on Saturday. Yeah, that's really Saturday night. I'm not expecting much in the way of rain at all during the day. Spotty storm on Sunday, high of 90 degrees. Cooler weather, cold front moves through Saturday night into Sunday, so that will bring through some relief from the heat. Monday and Tuesday looking great, and then right back to near 90 degrees as we head towards the end of next week, back into the low 90s. Another heat wave trying to make its way our way, but once again, not too hot.
Hello from Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, America's first spa town where you can get in the water, and they say it has healing properties. We're going to tell you a little bit more about this town and why it's important to George and Martha Washington's story in an upcoming Beyond the Marble. But for right now, it makes an incredible day trip. Get a little wet, enjoy a little sun, and have a great meal while you're here, washed down by Berkeley Springs' finest. It's also Pride Month.
Pride in the Vines has a kickoff wine festival in Loudoun County called Proudly Poured. Mount Defiance Cidery and Distillery in Middleburg is where you want to be for a drag brunch followed by that wine festival on Sunday. And get that glitter ready. The Capitol Pride Parade and Festival are just 2 weekends from now. Or how about a kayak and boat tour on the beautiful, historic Occoquan? You can paddle around for the 2-day River Fest and craft show. Plus their downtown, it's so cute. Have music, great food, and of course, the crafts. Keep on going down 95. Enjoy yesteryear in Spotsylvania. It's the ye old last weekend of the Virginia Renaissance Fair. Saturday's sold out, but Sunday could be your day. And yes, you must get the pic with the turkey leg. It's required. In the district, the Smithsonian Castle is temporarily reopening after years of renovations. Treasures are on display in a new exhibit called American Aspirations.
Right here will be the desk that Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. For me, those words are a challenge to help America live up to its ideals. What I want is people to be able to think about how history is as much about today and tomorrow as it is yesterday, and that the 250th is an opportunity to remember, to reflect, and to come together as a nation.
And while you're on the mall, the National Gallery of Art is throwing a huge block party. It's a family affair with some good food, face painting for the kids, art making, and even marching bands. If you can't make that, don't forget Jazz in the Sculpture Garden is back next Friday. And new Islanders have moved into the villa, including Paralympic bronze medalist Beatrice Hartz.
That's my tie. Oh, so dark and handsome.
Love Island USA is finally here, and there are, in fact, local watch parties.
Those happen at Taqueria Sochi's Navy Yard spot every Friday. In Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, I'm Tommy McFly. Cheers to the weekend.
Well, we're now 1 month out from America's 250th birthday, and the plans to put on a huge party are full steam ahead. The group behind America 250 are planning more than just those iconic fireworks on the 4th. The celebration includes a live-streamed block party in L.A. with other parties across the country, 8 ball drops in Times Square for each of the U.S. time zones, and the placement of a time capsule in Philadelphia. The chair of the America 250 organization says their mission is purpose, not politics.
This has to be a sea to shining sea approach. When I became chair, one of my first priorities was to make sure that we established America 250 commissions in all 56 parts of our country. So the 50 states, D.C., and the 5 territories, it has to be grassroots, it has to be community driven, and I say from Guam to Alaska, from Fairbanks to Philadelphia, and everything in between.
Other initiatives have included field trips for 250 students who wrote essays and videos from everyday Americans sharing their stories. Now, Rio says the day after Independence Day, they are calling it a day of reflection for people to look back on what the journey to the 250th has meant to them. As graduation season starts to wind down, we're celebrating the class of 2026 and all the new graduates in the community. Today, News 4's Millette Green introduces us to some graduating seniors in Prince George's County.
We just love this time of the year in the community. Today, we're celebrating some wonderful students that we started the school year off with. Okay, so let's take a look back to August. I remember this. I hope you do too. We shared this on live TV, this pep rally out at Laurel High School in Prince George's County with the cheerleaders, the band, athletes, parents, student groups, student leaders, everyone. They're ready to return to class. And then 10 months later, here we have Laurel High School. Plenty to celebrate for their class of 2026. More than 400 graduating seniors, and among them, Tima Tope, right here. She is a track star and a Maryland state champion. The principal, Michael Dinkins, tells us this year's class received millions of dollars in scholarship money. 37 seniors got their seal of biliteracy, which means they tested proficient in at least 2 languages. Love seeing them, all the smiling faces and possibilities for the future. Laurel High School has a career technical academy division. Every senior received their certifications. So a big congrats to all the grads at Laurel High. Stick with us. We've got more senior picks coming in the coming weeks.
Congrats to all the grads. That's going to do it for the News 4 Rundown for this Thursday night. Be sure to join us right back here for News 4 at 11. For now, I'm Jim Manley. Have a great night, everybody.